Councilor Answer,
Here.
Councilor Tudor,
Aye.
Councilor Thurber,
Here.
Deputy Warden Ross,
Here.
Taylor Robinson, Executive Assistant is here, and then we have Coralie Ross, the Manager of Corporate Services, Tyler Coley, Manager of Municipal Services, our CAO, Jeff Sutherland, and myself, Linda Newton. On saying that, is there, I will ask everyone to pause and seek guidance. Okay, now the next is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions first?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. First is a presentation by Hal Terrio. Stacy's not coming.
No, he's stuck in Middleton. He was called to Halifax this morning for a couple of things and had to go up, and just called him from Middleton to apologize on his behalf.
Oh, no problem. To do a presentation on the Electric City. So could we have a motion for Hal to speak, please?
A motion for Hal Terrio to speak on the Electric City.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Mr. Terrio, go right ahead.
Thank you, Warden. Well, we intended on just updating you. First of all, thank you very much for allowing us to be here, and also thank you very much for the news that we got from Tyler recently that you approved our request for putting together a package of request to funders for $350,000 in total to get the displays designed, fabricated, and installed in our center. Last summer, we had 3 different companies from the city come down. As you're probably aware, the majority of the funding will have to come from ACOA, and they have an unofficial list of groups they prefer to deal with or would recommend. And so we made sure that we were getting 3 top-notch organizations to come and give us an interpretation of what we see as the reality of what we want to offer people at our center. The first bid from the top organization, the top company in Eastern Canada, came in at $778,000, and that was a bit much, a bit rich for. We only have just under 1,000 square feet, so it didn't quite add up. There is an industry standard, so much per square feet and so on. Anyway, the bottom line is the group that I was most impressed with, a couple that, a man and wife, he's had the company, it's Grant Murray Designs. For a number of years, we've done a lot of work for Parks Canada, a lot of good work, excellent work around the province, and his wife is a graphic designer and does a lot of the work with him. They spent 5 hours at the center, and they were full of questions, and read the book within a week, and were really quite enthusiastic about it. And they came in between 300 and 400, so that's the group that we've chosen. So that's what we were requesting, a municipal grant to show ACOA and other potential funders that there is buy-in and support, and that indeed you've shown, and we really do appreciate that very, very much. As I say, I apologize on Stacy's behalf, so he would be throwing in a few jokes and things that I won't attempt to do. But anyway, if you know me, you understand what I mean. Just to give you a brief idea of what we've been doing, since we've taken over the building in the last 2+ years, we've been devoted to get the building to the point where it can be open year-round and occupied and offer something for the public to see and do. It has never been insulated. It was built in 1860. It's in remarkably good shape, but it had not been maintained over the last few years because there simply wasn't the volunteer power and nor the money to be able to do it. So we applied. It was out of the blue that we found out about it. The New Horizons for Seniors program has a grant of $25,000, and we applied for that to put the insulation in, and we were successful in getting it. So we had the insulation put in toward the end of last summer. Since then, through Efficiency Nova Scotia, we put in 2 heat pumps, so 80% of that was given to us, and then we came up with the rest of it. We do ongoing sustainable, or try to be sustainable with our own fundraising, but grants are the only way to pay for these major projects. This year we applied again to the New Horizons program at their hint that we might be successful for a second year in a row, which I didn't expect. And we got $25,000 to reshingle the roof because we had several leaks. That was finished, I'm happy to say, this afternoon. So that is done. The Nova Scotia Community Generator Program has given us $22,540 for the purchase of a generator so we can become a place of refuge if the power goes out for any extended period of time. That's something that we felt strongly we wanted to be able to offer the community. So we'll be seeking further input on that down the road with the fire department and so on. And we've, the Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage has recently granted us $20,352 to redo the windows. Almost all the windows, the sills are rotten. A lot of in between the stained glass panes, and if you forgive me if technically I may not know the term because it's been years since I put any putty on windows, but the individual where the panes of glass rest, the supports, many of those are rotted out, and we were losing an awful lot of heat through the windows. So we're going to stabilize those, secure them, and then cover them in plexiglass so that they are preserved, hopefully for another 100 years. So that's what we've been doing, and you're aware, I know, being in the political position you're in, just the arduous process of writing proposals and waiting, and then fulfilling the project and providing all the paperwork that's necessary. So that's really taken us 2 years to get up to that point. The only other thing that's left, and I'll be looking for funding for that over the next couple of weeks, is painting of the building. It's notoriously ugly in places and needs work, and we're getting some estimates on that. First one will probably be in this week, so we'll be applying for that. So then, and that will be it for the building. So we're ready to go with the interior. We gutted the kitchen, and Stacy's doing the work for us to make a workable kitchen that would be acceptable. Since COVID, some of the restrictions have become a little more arduous to follow through. There was a tiny little bathroom connected to the kitchen, which we've taken out because we helped the Historical Society when they had the building find funding to put in a wheelchair accessible washroom. And we, of course, have a ramp, so we're going to be fine along that line. So that's financially what we've been doing, although in addition to that, we do our ongoing fundraising constantly. We, over the winter, not in the dead of winter, of course, but we had a bean sale toward the end of winter, and which we've done a couple of them before COVID, did extremely well. It didn't do so well with this recent one. We've had book sales, we've had all sorts of things. We've done a couple of plays at the center, and we'll be doing more. We have an upcoming play that we're working on now, which is an all-female cast telling the story of some local Canadian women who had exceptional lives. So we're working on that one. Just the first rehearsal actually is this weekend. We formed working in partnerships with Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia, tie-ins. They have a great deal of respect for what we've been trying to do, and they are backing us in every way possible with all kinds of excellent advice. And we have meetings with them and other folks coming up in Halifax sometime in the next couple of weeks. Tourism Nova Scotia has been good with giving us advice and sharing ideas and encouraging us over the years. Of COA, we've met many times with the representative Brian Lombard here locally, but also when Jeff Bowen was with them, we met with him a number of times. So we've been trying to build our case and to prepare everything as adequately as we possibly can. We have a board of 11 at the moment. We can hold up to 12. We had at our most recent AGM, we had several new people come on with us, which is wonderful. Some younger folks. We are developing a relationship with the Department of Economic Development, and we'll be going up to talk with them. I had some emails and long conversation on the phone last week with one of their representatives, and that looks like it's going to be, they will be contributing to the, along with the Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage toward the provincial part of the funding that we're seeking as well. Recently, we've been having conversations with the Office of Acadian Affairs and Francophonie. Again, they're interested because we want all of our displays and so on to be bilingual, if not trilingual. They want to work on those. We have a great working partnership with Bearable First Nation as well. We've been partnering with Université St. Anne for 3 years now. They allow us the use of the theater when we want to do large shows free of charge because of what we're trying to do for the community, and that's been a great boon to us. We've met with the president on a few occasions. Camo Seafoods and AF Terrio have supported us with donations and with monetary donations as well. Camo Seafoods gave us and delivered with a boom truck and a crew of 7 or 8 men a trailer for us to use. We needed storage apart from the building. As you know, their building is small. So they give us a monetary donation every year, so it's been great. Lazy Bear Publishing, we recently published our own coloring book, which is available as a fundraiser with Lazy Bear in Smith's Cove. So we're constantly seeking ways of doing things. Bearable Winery, we've developed an Electric City wine, which isn't generally available yet, but will become more so as time goes by. We have a wonderful working relationship with the Pines Resort and Spa. They provide us with free rooms for various events that we're doing and so on. The various ATV associations, the Southwest ATV Association, Digby area ATV, Annapolis area have helped us with cleanups back at the site, and we'll be doing another one of those sometimes in the this spring, late spring. We have also a good relationship with Juanita Peters in the Africville Museum. She's executive director, you may know, of the Africville Museum, originally from Weymouth. She's on our board and joins us by Zoom or live when she can, so she's been a great help. And then the Nova Scotia Works, we're working to get a full-time employee, which hopefully we'll have by the end of the summer. We have an excellent candidate that we think we will be able to get. She should be available at the end of this month, so we've been working with her and working with everything else that's required to do the paperwork on that as well. We have an upcoming musical evening fundraiser with Brad Huey. The play that I mentioned, we'll be participating in the various summer festivals in the area. We have an Acadian member on our board who's going to represent us at all the Acadian festivals. And we do a number of community talks and outreach work. We do a lot of that, including at the guest speaker at the AGM of the Digby Museum on June 4th, if you're around. And we do a lot of talks with schools and teachers and so on. We're developing ongoing relationships with some of the schools of the area, and we want to reach out to further schools, because one of our attractions that will help us be sustainable once we're up and running will be student groups coming in to do tours and to do workshops. We do workshops on theater as well as workshops on heritage. We partner with the O2 class in the St. Mary's Bay Academy and have had some wonderful experiences with some of the volunteers from that class helping us out. We had 4 girls in, we completely redid. We have a huge collection of costumes, authentic dress. We inherited the museum in Woodstock, New Brunswick, had a large collection of clothing from the 1900 period, and they gave it to a friend of theirs who in turn gave it all to us. So those will become costume perfect vintage for all of the plays that we do with the heritage of the Weymouth in Digby County area. So that's about it. I guess that's kind of summarizes. I try to get through it all quickly.
That's about it.
It's about it, yeah. It's 2 years of our lives, pretty much.
Quite a bit.
Well, it is, but it's been you have to have a passion. You have to believe in what you're doing. I mean, I know you all realize that, or you wouldn't be here, I'm sure. And we do. We believe in the story. We believe it's one of the most important stories that Canada has to tell, because it really, that community encapsulates what has become known as multiculturalism, which is one of our major tenets in our country. And that community established it long before it became a word that anybody else used. So we're pleased to be able to do it on behalf of the community. And I hope to be able to, when we hire a full-time employee, to retire from it. I've been 10 years doing it. Well, actually more than that. I started in 2010 with the first play I wrote, so with the Electric City. So we'll keep going. Any questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's the steeple? What's the steeple like in shape?
It's in good shape.
It's in good shape.
Yeah, inside.
I know
Yeah.
it's expensive.
We were told. Yeah, we were told before we took the building over, not by anybody on the Historical Society, that it would have to be taken out, that it was rotten or whatever. But we can't find any problem with it at all. It's quite sturdy. It's in good shape. Just needs paint.
Yeah.
It just amazes me how much work you put into it, because we had that fire. It was like, it was really, we were bummed out here and all that stuff. And then to read your request a few months ago, it's like, wow.
Well, it was
a lot of hard work
challenge.
you put in.
But again, if you have the passion, the story you can't take away, no matter, you can't burn the story. And although we have lost the hard artifacts, almost all of them, we still have, because they didn't happen to be in that building. We have a bench that was part of the chapel that was built in New France, handmade by the Acadians, some of the Acadian workforce back there. So we have 2 or 3 things. We have a piano that they brought with them from France. It's been in storage at the university, and they want to give it to us. We just have to find the necessary youth and vigor to be able to lift it up a set of stairs. It's buried down in the basement. But that is going to be important, because music was so important to the family and to the celebrations they had back there. So we have odds and ends of things, and we have everything that burned in the fire, we have electronically. So when we make the display, some of those things we can recreate. And we have all the pictures electronically as well. So we're fortunate.
Has anybody come forward from the community with artifacts that they?
We've had a few donations. Yes, yeah. A lot of people won't. Because they're scared. Some people are scared that they were taken from the house. The house was left when the family moved out in 1920 or so. Really before that, because the father had moved out after the mother died. He couldn't live there without her, and 2 of the daughters that were left moved with him to Weymouth. And then the boys, 5 of the 7 boys went off to fight the First World War. And so most of the family was gone, but when they closed the house up, they left it intact. They left almost everything there, almost all the furniture, and gradually it disappeared over the years. So people have things, but they don't like going up to it. Their ancestors borrowed it. But we have been given quite a few. And some period implements, farming implements, and things like that.
Any other questions?
I've just got this, remember I mentioned it to you about the Nova Scotia Indigenous Tourism?
Yes.
I just wrote it down here for you.
Okay, thank you.
Reach out to them, because I think they would be a good partner as well.
Yeah, Tynes has invited us to go to an indigenous.
Robert
Robert
Bernard.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, if not, I thank you again very, very much, and
We thank you. It's very interesting and busy.
yeah, it's busy. It's fun. It's a challenge, but it's good. And if you have any questions at any time, please just get in touch.
We will.
Thank you. Now we edit it here.
The next is the minutes of April the 9th. Is there any errors or omissions in those minutes? Anyone saw?
I would approve the minutes for April 9th.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Minded, motion carried. The CAO report. There are no, on May 25th or 21st, there's no meeting. On May 28th, there's council meeting. On June 3rd, there's Public Works and Policy. On June the 11th, committee of the whole on June the 18th, no meeting, and on June 25th, council. Everybody comfortable with those dates?
And I won't be here June 11th, so if you guys need to cancel it, if I'm required.
Well, Tyler's not here, so.
I'm grinding through a hole that night.
We can't move forward.
You're so right. Now, with the CEO update, has anyone got any questions on the update that he's given? Okay, hearing none. We will go to departmental reports. Any questions on any of the reports?
I just have to mention, Rob's report. He had mentioned that he was gonna send an Kamoa invitation for Wednesday.
Huh?
Well, he passed away in December.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
It's a difficult thing to overcome.
So I just wanted, maybe he should,
Yes. I agree. Thank you for that. And you know what? That passed right through my mind. That's something he always does. So we will get that corrected. Thank you. Any other concerns or questions? Would someone like to approve the CAO update with the departmental report?
So,
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. There is no dangerous and unsightly premises. The next is the business items. Declare Bluegrass Festival sponsorship. Oh, Jeff, go ahead, please.
So I think this is a new one that we haven't seen before. So again, we can debate anything. I was looking at, if council was interested, the $100 business card would seem about the appropriate level. But again, we haven't done a lot. Sometimes we get these things just thrown our way, so it's really your discretion.
What do people think?
I have no problem with the $100.
yeah, the $100 sounds reasonable. I'll move $100.
Are you making that a
I'll
motion?
make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is Turning the Tide funding request. They've asked us to reconsider.
Jeff?
Yeah, so we had gone to them to, they had reached out after we had notified them. They had asked about submitting a reduced request. We had said that's always an option, or to write us a letter if they wanted council to reconsider, if there's a different amount, or just to reconsider. So they have sent a letter to reconsider and resubmitted the original request.
How do people feel? I don't see any changes.
No, there's not really any changes, but I will say that new woman that they've hired is fantastic. She's actually around, she's working, she's doing stuff, making changes. She's doing great. So I'm very pleased with that one aspect.
What are they doing?
It's just they hired somebody with some pizzazz.
Yeah, but what do they do?
The young people from 14 to 24. And they sort of like a social worker for people who are in tough situations, like no food, or say the power's out, or things along those lines, need mental health supports, all those sorts of things. And she has a small budget, and she kind of reminds me a little bit of the early days of Schools Plus, when they were still useful.
So they're kind of like Big Brother, Big Sister.
No, she's just sort of like a low end non-official social worker, but somebody's doing very social work type stuff. But that's different than what they're asking for, so.
Yeah, it's all different.
Yeah.
Was turning the tide the group that had opened the rink upstairs?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
activity center.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still agreeing my original, yeah, there's no change.
Yeah, no motion then.
So, we will send another letter that, thank you for the readdress. We have not changed our mind. Now, correspondence, there was trees for a thriving ecosystem. Any questions on that? Canada Community Building Fund, the update letter.
I could.
Yes.
So,
go ahead.
this letter itself doesn't say anything real exciting, but I think there are some hints in here that we're starting to hear that I think when this is finalized, we're going to see that this is what used to be gas tax, that they now call Community Building Fund. And I think there is the potential that this is going to evolve even more. So right now, there's a category, I'm going to give or take, say, 20 things that we can spend those funds on. It's pretty restrictive. I think we're going to find that this is going to continue to evolve until more and more restrictive, and likely with a strong influence on housing. This is federal funds that work our way, so there's good and bad in that. These are restricted funds that have been sometimes challenging in the past. Most of our government funding, I don't think you'll ever hear me sit up here and say we need more restricted funding. It's one of the challenges that we face now, but we do anticipate, we're hearing that that's one of the things that's being discussed here, that this pot is going to get narrowed even more, so that will be interesting to see and keep all of our ears open for as these discussions unfold.
Yeah. Is there any further update on starting work at the environment school?
Yeah, so I think I emailed around an update to council today that we're lucky enough that the current owners of the property share their update with us. So I think June-ish, they're hoping to have on-site work beginning. Yeah, that's so yeah, no, there's a decent update provided. I would have to give a shout out, I think, to some of the national agencies and the province on, I think, stepping up with some additional funding to make sure the project, as costs have escalated through time, I think they're feeling pretty confident on where their funding's at, and the organization can bridge the gap.
So you sent the email today?
This morning. Yeah, this morning.
That was
Right?
last night.
Yeah, might have been. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
this morning. No, perfect.
Is that the one that they expanded last year? Like, remember the fire department said that they were allowed to apply?
I think they expanded this the year before to include. So yeah, so expanding, and now they're hinting at restrict. That's been the life of the gas tax funding has always been unique with whichever government is in power to expand. They've doubled it occasionally. They've not. It's a very political fund that I think will continue to be very interesting to see how it evolves and where housing nationally fits in it. So yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Okay. And the last is the census test.
No, so Colchester had sent around a letter to the minister and copied everybody. And this is, I'm not sure if this came up at all during the NSFM conference, but certainly we are hearing about this. So when Service Exchange was being negotiated, there was the topics that ended up being discussed about that we all did the sessions last August. And then some of you may be familiar, there was a much bigger list of things that got pushed to further conversation. And one of those big things was roads, probably the most expensive item and most controversial.
Mm-hmm.
And so none of those conversations have started or been followed up on. So I think Colchester has taken the role here to flag this with the minister. And they're just trying to figure out if there are changes coming, they need years upon, as we all do, years upon years of planning would help if this was going to be a big change. Maybe we'd have a reserve built up. We might have our heads wrapped around it. So I think that's what they're nudging with this letter, and will continue to be, I think, an NSFM and many units. I think everyone is curious on when those discussions are going to start around that second group, roads being at the top of that, and education being closely tied there. I think those two were running neck and neck for the things to be discussed in that next group.
I think it's very important that, yes, informed of what's going on, because it would be, major thing.
Oh, we certainly actually peer education would have to drop if we were gonna do this, so.
Okay. Any other comments on this? Last but not least, census test.
Yeah, they're just,
There's an upcoming census
I got
test.
one in the mail.
I did too, I didn't know if you did, I almost threw it away.
Well, you put two in.
Oh, I'm glad that stopped you. Yeah, it's right across the country, so, well, actually, it says only the 10 provinces for the same thing, but the territories. It surprised me that the 3 territories weren't included.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were lucky, Brandon, so.
tired on you.
So, yeah, please, we ask you to come to you to do them. Okay, the next is an in-camera session. So can I have someone to move into an in-camera contractual? All in favor? Contrary minded, motion carries.